Hey, yo, welcome to MCS, where we bring you solutions to common errors that you meet while you're programming. And today I've got a new video for you guys, uh, handling some common errors that you meet while using GitHub. Probably some of you, your first time using GitHub, and this video is actually specifically for you and some common challenges that you meet when you use GitHub. But this specifically is not a tutorial about teaching you an introduction to GitHub, and by no means, but an error you meet while working with GitHub. So yeah, so if your guys want a video about GitHub, uh, leave a comment down below and a like so that I know that your guys actually want some content on GitHub. Yeah. So lately I've been working with a group on GitHub, and we've been working on certain projects. As you can see, this is the project that we've been working on. So today I want to let's navigate to GitHub. Let me get you guys to speed about the different projects that we have. We have to clone one project in GitHub. So here you're going to have to open. Okay, let me open my repository and some projects that I have. So so in this organization that I'm in currently, we're working on different projects, and these projects, these are Laravel projects. So the project manager actually initiates the project and then uploads it onto GitHub, and then we, the crew members, clone the project. So this project is specifically a Laravel project, but but I'm assuming any project that uses vendor files and anything of that sort might have a might have the same problem. So today I'm trying to show you all the problem. So let me first start by showing you the problem that you experience. Let's take this project, Find Me project, and this is a GitHub project, right? So I'm gonna go into GitHub. I'm gonna go into GitHub and I'm going to clone this project. Mm-hmm. Add clone a repository, and we're gonna use the URL simpler route. So we're gonna go back into this Laravel project. Click down on code, copy the the uh the link to the project, and then go into GitHub and then paste the repository, and then select where the project should actually be stored in your local machine, and I will choose mine on the desktop. I know there's a lot of stuff in there, so let's pick a different place. Uh, I'll put mine's not even in the temp. I'll put it here in the lab. Yeah, I'll put it here in the lab. So, mm, so select. So yeah, you store it in that path. Yes, clone. So while that's cloning, I want to explain to you something about this project. This project is is a Laravel project, as you can see. So it means this project uses Composer. Composer is a framework that essentially manages your files in your project, and this Composer, yeah, and the Laravel framework uses actually a lot of you'd say third party classes and code that composer has to manage, and then if you're not using PHP and you're familiar with node npm, yes, the same thing happens. Npm is also a file manager for your projects. So what happens is, usually on a Laravel project we have something like this. We have a vendor file. Here's it. As you can see, it's a bit grayed out. So that this is your vendor file. It's grayed out, and this repository has a lot of files in it. A lot of files. Actually, let's check how big this actually thing is. Uh, Properties. Should have just clicked. So whilst that is still loading, our project has cloned successfully. But I want you guys to observe something in this case. If we go into the GitHub repository, there is no vendor file folder. So that will cause some issues when you're trying to use the project directly, and you'd assume that the vendor file is uploaded into GitHub. But in this case, it is not, because the vendor file is actually when it is uploaded, when the project is uploaded, the vendor file is actually ignored, because this is a big file, as you'd see in a minute. This is a big file. Usually I'm not sure on this, but I think GitLab actually handles something like this. But either way, anyway, it's a big file. Usually GitHub usually ignores this file because it's so big. But now you actually asked me a question that so what happens to the thing? How do I get the file? What do I do in this situation? In this situation, every project that you're gonna clone into GitHub, every project that is cloned that uses Composer or even npm, you can essentially push everything, but these things are avoided because their files can easily be generated by the programmer himself. So in this case, so now that I've shown you guys the size of the vendor folder, let's go into the repository and open it up. So here's our new window. And let's open not open a new window. Sorry. Uh, Close this. Let's open a new folder. Open a new folder. So let's go into where you stored your own project. So this, you can clone any 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 repository with GitHub, anyone that you actually that you have. And let's go into my lab, and then in this case I'll select fund me. So as you can see, when we open this folder in VS Code or any uh, IDE that you have, this folder does not have this project does not have the vendor folder, and there's some consequences for this. So I'm going to demonstrate what happens when you don't have the vendor folder in the Laravel project. uh, in this case, we cannot run some basic commands like PHP artisan serve, since this is a Laravel project. As you can see, we've experienced an error uh, which says PHP warning, require vendor autoload.php. So this is the file that is actually needed to actually initiate everything in your system. The vendor folder manages everything that is in Laravel is inside the vendor folder, if you will. So you need the vendor folder in your project in order to actually do things with this project that is a Laravel project. So now, what do we do? So how do you solve this problem? So firstly, what you can do is in the terminal, in the terminal, you can click Control L. You have to type Composer update. Make sure you have an internet connection for this, because this actually needs an internet connection. And then you wait for it, and you wait for it. And as you've seen, if you've noticed, the vendor folder appears, and it is usually grayed out. When you go to git ignore, let me just click on git ignore. Then you see what you see here. You can actually remove this and then upload your projects into GitHub, and then it will essentially upload the vendor folder too. But uh, uh, when you're trying to save your when you live in a third world country like me, you usually want to save as much internet data as you have as much as possible. So you usually ignore this, but by default it's actually ignored. The public store folder is ignored because the public store folder may have like videos and stuff. So it's actually big, and you can, as you can see, npm is also included in here. Yam error. These are the different things that are ignored in when this project is actually what being uploaded onto GitHub. So now, but you can easily get back the vendor folder by doing this. So while we're still waiting for this, this is not the only step. So please stick around, because this won't solve your problems yet. At least not yet. There's still some few steps that you need to take. So now it's completed, and now let's try running our PHP artisan serve. You see this time it opens. You see this time it opens. Okay, let's click on it. So now what you have to do now, as you can see, we have another issue. So what we have to do now is actually copy this folder. Let's say copy, and then let's paste it in the root of your project. Paste it, and then you have it there. Then rename it into env, because now your project is missing an env file. Make sure that it uses your database is also set correct. But I also want you to notice that we don't have the application key, so we need to have an application key for the project. And here's the name of the project, and here you can change this from localhost to fundme, for instance, in my case fundme.com, in my case, and you save it, close it. Let's try again. And now we have another issue. So now, this is another issue where you have to generate your application key. Your application key is missing, so you have to click on generate application key, and the solution has executed successfully. And now you have to refresh everything, and then you get Laravel, and you can start coding and whatever you guys want to do. So yeah, that's it. So let me just walk you guys step by step, in case your guys missed it because of so many pauses. So when you're cloning a repository, you may be in a situation where someone has to clone the repository in your organization that is different from. So the person might include the vendor folder, and sometimes might not include the vendor folder, because sometimes the vendor folder is usually a large folder that has a lot of things, and usually a number of other things that can be excluded. And this goes for both npm and both Laravel. A lot of frameworks, let me say that, usually have vendor folders. Anything that has a vendor folder, usually it will be ignored. Whatever project they're using, or whatever project that you're using, usually if it's Laravel, whatever framework, but maybe it's Node.js, these things, and npm do all generate vendor folders, and vendor folders usually holds the framework itself and other plugins that you actually want to use. So the vendor folder, the env folder is very important for your project. In this case, when you're using things like Laravel and third-party softwares, what happens is the env folder keeps information about your project. So as you can see here, we have different information about my projects, about this project that we actually started here. And as you can see now, we've changed the application key has been generated. So now when you clone your a project from GitHub that you didn't upload yourself, you'll have to run composer update. This composer update function or code will generate a vendor folder for your project with the specific details according to your project. And then I think there is a command that you can find for generating the env, the environmental file, but I'm not sure what it is. So you can easily just copy the file env.example and then paste it and then rename it to env and just change one parameter, because essentially these two folders are the same. So you just have to change the URL, or I don't even think you have to, but yeah. But mind you, the application key is usually not what not not there, not set. So you'll need to, once you run your application, you'll have to generate the application key. So there you have it, guys. mm, Make sure to leave a like and a comment down below if you like the video, and peace out.